Yo, yo, yo. It is Deep Voice Devin. What is up, my peeps? Get a little bit of a better angle, hopefully, going on here. There we go. Of course, I got my Blue Yeti mic set over here to the right of me. So when I look over down there, should be a little bit better audio. At least of my voice. Today, just feeling pretty bored. Came down to my car to roll up some flour. I do live in a medical state and recreational state, but I also have my medical card, so the way things go, best to kind of just keep yourself covered, because depending on what state you're in will depend on the rules and how you can move about with your stuff. Let's see. Give you guys a little bit of action going on. So, what the hell am I doing? It's of course backwards, but Khalifa Kush. This one's called Khalifa Mints. Now, this is my first time trying Wiz Khalifa's stuff. I'm a big Wiz guy. He was one of the first artists I started listening to that was in rap. Back when I was like probably 10 or 11. Of course, I got my Mac Miller hoodie on. Big Pittsburgh guy. Love artists from the Pittsburgh area. That being said, the state I live in, Ohio, is not very cool when it comes to medical stuff, medical products. So it took a while for Wiz Khalifa stuff to get here. And now that it is, I'm excited, but everything that is grown here, everything that is sold here has to be grown here. I was a bud tender, so I worked at a dispensary. So I know the way things go in the state, but everything that is grown here everything that's sold here has to be grown here. So that's why it took a long time for certain people to get their stuff here, because in order to grow it, you have to set up a whole, thing going on. And in order to do that, to have a cultivation site, you have to pay $250,000 in the state of Ohio. So, not the friendliest when it comes to helping out the Ohio peeps, But that is the way the state goes. The government makes the rules, unfortunately. Now, what I will be doing today is, I've already got one up, but I want to try the Khalifa stuff, so I'll just save that for a different time, different part of the day, But all of this to be said, that I did just recently leave my dispensary job. Oops. And I'm going to be trying to make more content. What the heck? It was on my lip. I'm going to be trying to make more content because this is actually the way I prefer stuff. So, yeah, I do think it is something that is to be said about the state has a lot of growing to do. I am thankful to have this stuff here. especially considering places like Florida, it's just medical. But I'm not too sure. I try to sit at that spot of course, being grateful for anything like that is important, but it's also important that things take care of people and their, especially when they're patients. And Ohio just does not give me that solidification of it being a patient first kind of state. It kind of always boils down to, you know, which companies are bringing in the most capital and who has the biggest profit and all this other stuff. So it's just not very fun. Again, I'm grateful for it, but not very fun to be involved when it comes to that stuff, because making sales is cool and all, but I'm more about getting people the quality products that they're looking for. So if I can't help you and another dispensary can, I'm of the mindset to be like, oh, well, you should go pick up their stuff because, that's what works for you. And it's not very it's frowned upon to recommend a different store, even if they have the product that the person is looking for. So that's what kind of bums me out, where I'm like, if our goal is to... Sorry, that was probably pretty loud. If our goal is to help patients, I would probably thrive. But when it comes down to, oh, well, you shouldn't tell people to go get the stuff that works from them. Not that was a specific incident anyways, but it just, I don't know, to be honest. So today, like I said, it's the Khalifa mints. I lost my good grinder, so today I'm just gonna use this kind of jank one at the dispo. When we used to carry these, they would charge, it was like $40 for it, which is crazy considering. I'll show you the size of it, and it doesn't have a keep catch. It just a one layer one. And damn, it is hot today, I will say that. It's cold outside actually, but it's hot in this car because I've got my hoodie and sweatpants on, and it's, the sun's out, so. I would smoke the doobie as well. It's just the apartment complex I'm staying out with my sister. They're pretty harsh on smoking anything now. Harsh in the sense that they just send out emails saying, hey, reminder you guys to not be, doing X, Y, and Z stuff. But I'm also like, well, considering the fact that it's legal, I don't really give a fuck, but I am staying with my sister, and she does give a fuck, so of course it's not my place. So I choose to respect her wishes and not smoke on the premises. So in that sense, always try to be, or don't try to be an asshole when it comes to smoke and stuff, because I do know there's a lot of people that don't really care when they're around other people. Now, if we're all adults, it's one thing, you know, especially if it's an environment where nicotine or cigarettes and alcohol is allowed or permitted, but weed is not. Not really. Those situations, I don't really care. I'll do as I please, as long as it's not a, ignorant and like all in people's face. That I don't agree with. But if it's something like, I mean, it does smell pretty good when it's broken up. So I think I'm more of that, like, it says it was, I think, an OG crushed with something else. I'm assuming probably a Kush Mints. But yeah, it gives stoners like a bad look when people are just like don't care about anybody else around them. If you're hitting a vape, it's one thing. That stuff just kind of disappears. But if you're smoking flower and you're like at a park where there's a bunch of kids, not cool, dude. Not cool. Now, if it's after hours, there's no kids there. Parks are, tend to have a lot of pretty spots or just nice spots to chill, but during hours, not cool. If there's kids there, not really cool. And that just goes to say, like, I don't think you should just shelter kids from everything, but if they're around like cigarettes and alcohol in the family, I don't think there's an issue with them seeing the Kush. I just think it's because it's a lot harder to hide because it reeks both when you're rolling up and when you're smoking, so pretty much. Don't know how long this, I mean, I see how long the video is. It's at 14 and a half minutes. I'm not a big editor, so not 'cause I don't care to, but I just like the more raw, uncut ASMR. That's how I prefer my stuff, so even when it comes to like certain ASMR creators that they'll mute their mic when they're doing stuff, I don't know what it is for me, but like if I'm there, I'm like just either edit out the clip or just let me hear it because it bothers me like with no sound but seeing stuff move. I don't know why. It just like doesn't compute in my head. Like, oh well, there's no sound, so it's obviously broken on my end. Um, yeah, I can't roll. I've been smoking for 24 since I was 14, so I've been smoking about a decade. I can roll blunts, but when it comes to joints, I can't. But of course, I do prefer doobies joints because they're not as bad for you. So I try to. I don't try. I just stuff cones most of the time because I don't want. You know, I like smoking blunts. Don't get me wrong, but I try to save those more for special occasions. Occasions. Lord have mercy, because like I said, it's not as good for your health and kind of messes up my lungs if I smoke them a lot. But actually, when I get upstairs, um, I'll probably shoot another quick video, like a few minutes, and it'll probably actually come out first. Or I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll post this one first. Um, I'm a big pot smoker, but where I've kind of worked as for like, a dispensary person, a bud tender for the last year and a half. I don't necessarily know if I want to make like my whole YouTube about smoking. Now, I watch a lot of or I used to watch a lot of Mushroom Head ASMR, and then I used to watch a lot of Hotbox ASMR as well. Those are just the people that I thought did a really good like combination of stuff where it was not just not just ASMR, not just weed. It was like Hotbox ASMR did pretty much exclusively, it felt like, weed content. Mushroom ASMR is like on that kind of half and half, I feel like. So it works out pretty well in my eyes. But I don't know, I just didn't want people to be like, "Oh, all you do is smoke weed and make ASMR." I like to do both. I'm a big gamer too, so in the end my goal is I would like to do voice acting. People have always told me about my voice being like, they just like my voice and like listening to me talk. Excuse me, sorry. People said like they like my voice and listening to me talk, so I want to do voice acting of some kind, whether it's for like characters in shows or if it's characters in shows or if it's more like video games and stuff like that. Even movies, I mean anything really. I just think it's cool. I like I like villains. I'm a sucker for like an easy protagonist, but a really cool villain gives me um, a lot of like this oomph to it. I don't like a lot of villains, but the ones that are cool, I do. I'm a big Toji Fushiguro guy from Jujutsu Kaisen, if you've seen that. Um, I also love Chozo. It's just like that weird of people who aren't just exclusively villains, but like they have, you know, reasonings, if you will. I love that kind of stuff. So to kind of be able to put a character out there like that would be pretty cool. Someone else I like is like Overwatch. I like Roadhog a lot. I don't know if I've not done a whole lot of voice acting stuff, so right now it would be mostly probably just me getting out there using my voice. I don't really know how to adjust it a whole lot. Um, but I'm sure I could learn, and I feel like that would be a good tool to have for someone with a deeper voice to kind of know how to go higher and do ranges with the dude who does his name's Jake something, I think, or not Jake, Jack something. The dude who does Jake from Adventure Time, Bender from Futurama. Um, he's done some other people too, some really good ones, but those are like the main ones I know. Or the dude who does Cassidy from Overwatch, Matt Mercer, I want to say. He's awesome. He got Voice Actor of the Year, I think, in 2023 or something, or 2020. One of those years. He's done a lot of things in video games, done some stuff in some shows. I want to say it was like Batman Arkham, some kind of show. Um, the dude in Star Wars that does the Joker as well, Mark Hamill. Um, there's a lot of cool stuff where it's like necessarily you don't have to be one niche, but you could, or you could do all of them. Um, I don't know. So I just don't want to get too like laser focused on one thing. Even when it comes to ASMR, that's why I do the more um, like right now I'm just talking normally. That's why I do more of the like soft spoken and the easygoing rambling stuff because I love ASMR, but when it comes to sitting down and making a sound, sometimes my brain just gets like lost. So talking helps me stay more in the moment and focused on what's going on. Even that being the case, I get to talking sometimes, I get to yapping, and I can barely tell what I just said because I'm just so much information just I feel like comes out of me sometimes. So hence why the video is 23 minutes long. So I will be cutting it now. Phone's probably about to die. Rolled me up a doobie. We're gonna go upstairs, plug in my phone for a little bit. Uh, might make like a 3 minute long video of me taking a dab, just to see if you guys do want that kind of content. If you do, I will definitely put it out there. Um, if you're watching this and you made it this far, if you are seeing this part at all, thank you. Grateful for you. Um, drop like a comment saying I like donuts if you made it this far. It's kind of weird, but I like to see if anybody did make it this far, or if it's more of a, I just was talking too long and I finished the doobie probably 10 minutes ago. I have no clue sometimes when I get down to recording. I just like recording, and that's why I think I would like streaming because I can kind of I can just keep going and going and going. But it's like finding good spots of the more quality stuff. I don't want to just, put out all this stuff because I like to record. I'd rather it be more of I get an inkling like, okay, let me go record, go make some content. I want you guys to, especially with me saying, I left my last job and I've got some savings. Not that I'm, trying to live off of that. I want to make money, so I'm of course applying to more jobs, but I've got two baby cousins that I'm helping take care of since I was 17. I'm 24 now, and just having time to be able to spend with them is important. And it just seems like when it comes down to these full-time jobs, working 40 hours a week, most of the stuff my age, they're not hiring me for unless I have experience. And if they do hire me, it's for like retail or food, stuff like that. You don't get the weekends off. You don't get to really pick your schedule. You have to do what they tell you if you want money. And I want to spend time with my baby cousins. They have a lot going on in their lives, so that's why we have them. And working part time is more of where I want to be at because I want to be able to have that time with them and be, able to do stuff that I like as well. But I got the notification my phone's about to die. Let me cut this short now. Cut this short. Let me cut it now, so I can get up there and post this. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day and a good night. Thank you for watching.